All right, everybody, welcome to your last large group. How you doing today? Good? Enjoy your break? It was nice, wasn't it? Of course it wasn't long enough. Never is. So today in class, what we're going to do is talk about some policies and some procedures. We'll talk about the finals exam week. We'll do a survey, answer any questions you have, kind of deal with last minute wrap-up stuff. Sound good? We might even get done just a little bit early. Maybe. All right. So, first off, a couple of announcements. First, presentations this week in class on Wednesday. Make sure you're ready for those. Make sure your group is ready. Everything's all cleaned up and ready to go. We'll talk about presentations towards the end of the class time, but make sure it's ready. Second thing, group project due Sunday. Needs to be finished up by then. And then last thing, the final reflection paper also needs to be done by Sunday. Okay? Now, recently received an email from Andrea Vessler, who's in charge of the MapWork survey. That has been extended until December 5th to get that completed. So you have this week to complete the MapWork survey also if you've not been able to get that done yet. There were some issues, I guess, with the technology there. So everybody clear on that? Awesome. Now, go ahead and pull out your clickers. We're going to start off with this. We're on frequency AA. And the question for you that we're going to begin with is, have you completed your course evaluations? If you put your computer away, please, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, sir. All right, we got 65, 66. I'll wait just a moment longer. All right, so 36% of you have, 62 haven't. 1D, I'm not sure where that one came from. So a couple of things with the course evaluations. Number one, have you been getting a lot of emails about those course evaluations? Have you been seeing a lot of those? You know how to make them stop? You just do the stupid evaluations, and then they're done. They never come again, at least until next semester. It's sort of like it irritates you until you comply type of thing. So please get them done for your sake. The course evaluations, they are due this week. And the purpose of them is really to give instructors an idea of how students are perceiving their classes. Okay? If you don't tell them what you're getting out of it or what you're not getting out of it, they're not going to really know. So please, give that feedback. It's going to help them make adjustments for future classes. Now, a couple of things we want to move on to with grades. With grades being submitted in a few weeks here, just want to make sure you understand what happens with this. Number one, after grades are submitted, if you do not agree with the grade that you have been given, there is a process you need to follow to argue that grade. You have every right to argue a grade that you receive if you feel like it's unfair. First thing you need to do is talk to your instructor. You must go to your instructor first. If you do not talk to your instructor first and you go straight to the division chair or to the dean, I guarantee the first question they're going to ask is, have you talked with your instructor about this? And if you say no, they're going to send you back to the instructor. Okay? That's just the process you have to take. You have to deal with that person first. If you can't get anywhere with that instructor, if you don't feel like your question is being answered, then you can go on to the department chair and then the dean. Okay? Now, if you can't get anywhere even with the dean, there is a grades appeal process. Talks about it right there. And what you do, it's formally initiated with a written appeal, and it has to be done within 4 months of that initial grade. So any grade that you get at the end of this semester, you must appeal it before the end of next semester. Okay? If you don't, you've just accepted the grade and it's done. Now, if you want to do an appeal like that, you contact the dean of the college and ask for a copy of the grade appeals process, and they will give that to you, and then you'll be able to follow that to create that appeal. Rarely does it get that far. Usually you can just talk with the instructor, And sometimes the division chair, they trying to get in? You want to get that for them? Yeah, you. Awesome. All right. It normally doesn't get that far, but if it does need to, you can go through and formally get that. I think they just went around. All right, thanks for trying. All right. Now, we need to talk about withdrawal policies too. There's two different policies on this you need to be aware of. The first one is up through week 12, and the second one is after week 12. The through week 12 policy says that if a student withdraws from a class, the instructor will assign a W regardless of the student's progress in the course. That means they withdrew before the class was completed enough to give them a grade. After the 12th week, the instructor will give either a W or an F, and that's going to depend on what the student's standing was in the class when they withdrew. Okay? So you need to be aware of the differences there. If you have questions about it, I encourage you to talk with your advisor. They'll be able to give you more details about that and help you figure out what's happening with that in those situations. All right, next thing, we're going to talk about final schedules. Do you know when your final exams are? Most of you do, awesome. This has been pretty consistent. There's about a third of each class so far that hasn't really understood the final exam schedule, knowing when they are. So 2/3 of you, great. The other third, we're going to catch you up right now. The final exam schedule is different than the regular school semester schedule. We're going to show it to you in a second. I'll show you how to find it. The first thing, though, I think you need to remember is that there is no University Strategies final exam. Okay? So next week, you do not have to go to University Strategies. It's done. Okay, next week. Slow clap, yes, yes. Thank you. All right. Now, if you want to find the final exam schedule, if you just go to the NSU website and type in final exam schedule in the search box right up here, it'll bring you to this page. And it looks like a bunch of gobbledygook. Here's how this works. Find the day and time of your class. So with this one, we are 11 a.m., Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right there. That tells you the test date, which would be December 8th if we had one, which we don't, and the time, 11 until 12:50. All right? This is the schedule you use for all of your classes this semester. You figure out the date, the time, the day, and then you'll see which day and which time you have that. Okay? And you can always go there to find the information you need. Okay. Now, next thing, with final exams coming up, how many of you have a large project in one of your other classes? Whether it's an exam or an essay or a presentation. And most of us usually most instructors like to save these things up until the end. We all like to torture you at the same time. At this time, you might want to go and talk with the tutor, give you a little extra help at the end of the semester just to get everything wrapped up. Make sure you understand everything you need to know. Tutors, again, they're covered. You don't need to pay extra for them. You can do it through smart thinking. You can do it with an in-person tutor. Just go to the Student Academic Success Center. They can help you find one and get you all set up. Okay, just a little reminder about that. Now, what I want to do is take a little time to answer any questions you have before the semester wraps up. Now, peer instructors, please raise your hands. I want you to find your class, find your peer instructors, and you're going to talk with one another. But any questions you might have, I'll come around and answer anything that your peer instructors can't actually answer for you. Got it? So go ahead and start doing that.
Yeah, ours isn't here, but I have a question.
Okay, let me come around and I'll talk with all of you. So what's up?
Our University Strategies books, since they made us buy them, can we sell them back to the bookstore?
I don't think those sell back.
So we have to keep them.
What if you didn't?
You don't have to keep them.
What if you?
Well, but we can't get the money back.
Yeah, it's
What about these?
I would hang on to it because there will be other situations in other classes you might need them.
I
They're
just went into
They're one of those things that,
This is the only one.
it's one of those things that as they become more prominent, you're going to see more and more instructors expecting you to have them. So just hang on to it until you're done, and then feel free to get rid of it. Other questions over here? Any needs, concerns?
What if you never opened your strategies? In my room, I guess sounds bad, but me and my roommate shared hers. Can I purchase mine? Like it's completely purchased?
I don't know. You could try, see what happens. I mean, there's nothing wrong with bringing it in and trying. Shame on you.
I
But-
did all the assignments.
How'd you do the CSFI? Because you had to have a code to be able to access that one. Oh, okay. You skipped that one.
I need a trial because I didn't open my little bag either. So I was going to try and sell my big bag.
Okay. Interesting. Try it. See what happens. Yep. Incidentally, we're making a change to the textbook for next year so that it won't be the binder, so that we can do the sellback thing, because what we got for the binder stuff just wasn't worth what we wanted out of it. So. Textbooks generally a huge ripoff.
Huh?
Textbooks are generally a huge ripoff. I hate them, but
Yeah, I paid $100 for some news.
yeah, I hear you. If you have other questions, we can address them towards the end. I want us to move on to the next part for today. We need to talk a little bit about the presentations you're giving this week. Looking forward to those? Yeah. Of course you are. Why did I even ask? Come on. Okay, so now we're not going to work. Yeah, it's something like that. All right. Yeah. So what I want to do is talk with you about what you've seen in large groups that worked well for presentations. My hope here is we're going to talk about good and bad, and you can come away with some ideas for what you should do in your presentations or not do in your presentations. So the first question, wow. Excuse me. What have good presenters done in large group? Okay. What? Say it again. Made it fun. Yes. Very important. Make it fun. What else?
Kept it short and to the point.
Excellent. Good. What else?
I could use a recorder and take a nap.
What? No, we'll skip that one. All right. Keep going. He said I can use a recorder and take a nap. I want to hear 3 more.
They include pictures.
Student involvement. Include pictures. And? Say it louder. Handed out stuff. Free stuff always wins, right? Especially candy. Yes. All right. So 5 good things there. Okay, so what about bad presenters? Other than misspell or put typos in their slides? Twice.
Boring.
Okay, drawn out. Why are they boring though? Because they are. Okay, so if somebody lacks enthusiasm when they're giving a presentation, how likely are you to listen to them? You're not going to at all. Okay, so we've got monotone, lack enthusiasm, 3 more. I'm sorry?
They were rude.
Some are rude. Yeah, isn't that sad?
Like they covered up their fear talking about
Right. Excellent.
Not enough pictures.
Not enough pictures. Yep. Yep. Or too many pictures. Have you seen a slide that has too many pictures on it and you can't figure out what you're supposed to look at? It's awful. All right. So when you give your presentations, do the things that are good that you've seen. Don't do the things that are bad. Okay? That's really all it comes down to. When you do your presentations, I recommend that you bring it on a flash drive. If you're planning on using your own computer, bring it on a flash drive too. Okay? You're going to have very limited time when doing these presentations. So if you're doing 5 or 6 groups in a 1-hour class, that means each group's going to have 5 or 6 minutes, then maybe 2 minutes setup takedown time. That's about all there's going to be. So you got to be able to move through things really quickly. Have it on a flash drive, plug it in, pull it up, do your thing, get out. Okay? If you have to log out of accounts and log into accounts, it's just going to take extra time. It's not going to let everybody get through. So bring it on a flash drive. If you bring in your own computer to set it up that way, that's fine. But bring a flash drive too, just in case you need it. All right. Questions about presentations? All right. Now, survey time. We've got a few questions we want to ask about your experience here in university strategies. When we do this, technically there is a way where I could go through and figure out who said what and match it to your survey and figure out how you responded. I don't really care that much about individual responses to go through all that effort. It's not worth my time. So if you don't feel comfortable responding, knowing that I could figure it out if I really, really wanted to, don't respond. But again, it doesn't really matter to me. The goal here is just to get some feedback so that we can make adjustments for future courses. So the first question is, how much time per week did you spend on your homework for university strategies? And again, this is an average. It's hard to say. Some weeks are busier than others. Do you want to see the responses as we go? You want to see them? Okay. All right, so on average, half of you spent 2 hours or less a week. Interesting. All right. Next question. Helpfulness of instructor. Please rate your instructor. A is very helpful, D is very unhelpful. The other two are in between. And when we say instructor, we're talking about your small group instructor. All right. Overall, you found your instructors helpful. Great. Similar question. We're talking about the peer instructors now. So peer instructors, if you need to close your eyes, feel free. All right, peer instructors were, again, generally helpful. That's great. Should we give the peer instructors a round of applause? Let's do that. They're great. All right, next one. Guest presentations during large group helped me become more familiar with services at NSU. All right. That's actually a pretty even split. Interesting. Okay, good. Now, next one. The NSU Resources Scavenger Hunt brought me to places on campus I had not yet visited. We got a few less respondents. Are we having clicker problems? Okay, we don't know. All right. So we've got slightly leaning towards disagree. Great. All right, awesome. Next one. Overall, university strategies helped me become more familiar with NSU than if I hadn't taken the course. Okay. So again, we've got actually a pretty even split between the agree and disagree section. Interesting. Awesome. And I believe this is the last question. I learned valuable study skills in university strategies. All right. In this one we have, I think, a larger disagreeing section. Excellent. Good. Good to know. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. Now, that is it. Before you pack up, a couple things. Number one, thank you for your participation. Number two, if you have any questions or need anything, please come talk to me. Number three, best of luck with finals in your last week, and have a great break. Take care. Thank you.